We all hear about the magic of AI, but you know what? Behind every single successful AI project, there's something way less magical, but way more important, a solid plan. So today, we're going to push past the hype and look at the blueprint, the critical planning phase that literally determines whether an AI project flies or just falls apart. Let's grab our hard hats and get to it. Let's be real for a second. Most AI projects don't fail because the code is bad. They fail because of pure chaos. Right? They start with this big burst of excitement, but they end in total confusion because nobody has a map, there's no single source of truth to guide everyone. So, the big question is, how do you actually avoid all that chaos? Well, you start with a blueprint. And I want you to really think about this metaphor. You would never build a skyscraper without one, and a complex AI system is no different. It's the blueprint that turns a fuzzy idea into a concrete, buildable plan. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do, draft one together, step by step. So here's our game plan. First, we'll lay the foundation with the high-level architecture. Then, we're going to map out all the data flows. Think of it as the plumbing and wiring. After that, we'll choose the right AI for the building's main purpose, connect it to the outside world, and finally, plan for how to keep it running smoothly for the long haul. Okay, first things first, before you even think about pouring concrete, you need a high-level sketch of the whole thing. This is where we define the big picture for our AI system. You know, what are the main floors, where do the big support beams go, and how does it all fit together? Now, this is where our skyscraper analogy really comes to life. See, data ingestion, that's the loading dock, where all the materials arrive. The feature engineering layer, that's where you process those raw materials. The model training environment is the workshop where the real machinery gets built. And the model serving layer, that's the super fast elevator, delivering the finished product to exactly the right floor. And this just shows you the flow, how it all connects. A blueprint doesn't just list the rooms, it shows you the hallways. So here we see data moving from its raw source through an ETL process, which is just a fancy term for extract, transform, and load. Basically, it's a data refinery. From there, it hits a feature store, gets used by the model, and is finally delivered to the user through an API. It's a clear, logical path from start to finish. All right, we've got the skeleton of our building defined. Now it's time to lay the plumbing and wiring. A skyscraper is completely useless without power and water, right? And in AI, that's your data flow. This part of the blueprint details the stuff you don't see, but it's the absolutely vital infrastructure that brings the whole system to life. And I can't stress this enough. Data is the lifeblood of your system. You have to meticulously plan its journey. Where is it coming from? How is it going to move? How do you clean it up? Answering these questions right at the start is what prevents major blockages down the line. And this means you've got to choose the right pipes for the job. Are you using giant water mains to deliver a massive amount of data once a day? That's your batch ETL process, perfect for big reports. Or do you need an instant hot water tap for things like real-time fraud detection? Well, that's your streaming pipeline. The blueprint forces you to decide which pipes you need and exactly where they need to go. Okay, so we've got our structure and we've got our plumbing. Now for the big question, what is this building for? Is it an office tower, a hospital, a bunch of apartments? This is where we select the right AI model, because the model is what defines the core purpose of our entire solution. And right here, we face a huge trade-off. Do you go for the most powerful engine you can find, like a giant transformer model that gives you amazing performance, but it's kind of a black box? Or do you need something simpler, something more transparent that you can easily explain, especially if you have regulations to deal with? The blueprint makes you have this conversation up front. Our skyscraper design is almost done, but it can't just exist in a vacuum. It needs to plug into the city's power, water, and road networks. For our AI solution, this means integrating it seamlessly with all the other business systems that are already running. The power and water for our building, they come from what we call upstream systems. These are all your sources of data. The CRM with all your customer info, the ERP that runs business operations, all the company's databases. The blueprint has to show exactly which utility lines we're tapping into to feed our AI. And once all that raw material starts flowing in, our AI solution becomes the central processing hub. It takes all those different inputs and transforms them into something way more valuable. Think of it like a factory, turning raw goods into a premium finished product. So where does that amazing finished product actually go? To the downstream systems. The insights our AI creates are what power business dashboards, drive workflows, and help people make better decisions all across the company. Our skyscraper is now providing valuable services back to the whole city.
And finally, a great blueprint isn't just about construction, it's for the long-term operation. This last section is all about MLOps. It's the building's operations manual. It lays out exactly how we're going to run, maintain, and secure our AI skyscraper for years to come.
You know, this quote from the source material just says it all perfectly. You have to think about production from day one. It cannot be an afterthought. How are you going to monitor performance? What happens when you need to do an update? This stuff has to be baked into the initial design. And this chart breaks it down beautifully. Just think of it as the building's 24/7 security and engineering team. 40% of their job is monitoring model performance, making sure the elevators are still going to the right floors. Another 40% is system metrics. Is the power on? Is the water pressure stable? And the last 20% is all security and compliance, checking every ID at the door. It's that constant watchfulness that keeps our skyscrapers safe and valuable. And that's really the power of this whole process. By following these 5 steps, we take that initial chaotic brainstorm and we transform it into a comprehensive blueprint. It's a document that gets everyone, from the engineers to the executives, on the same page. It turns a complex, risky project into an achievable reality. So it leaves us with this one last big question. In this massive race to build the future with AI, could it be that our most powerful tool isn't the most complicated algorithm or the fastest computer? Maybe, just maybe, it's the simple, timeless act of drawing a really, really good plan.